An analytical review of the literature on self-regulation in information and communication technology supported learning, presented by Jonathan Barnes. Self-regulated learning emphasizes autonomy and control by students to effectively regulate and monitor cognitions, behaviors, and emotions, orientated to achieve learning goals. It is important because learners who self-regulate are much more likely to be successful and to engage in a deeper level of learning in online learning. It is of particular importance in online learning, where the dependence on information and communication supported learning is rapidly increasing, creating a need for learner autonomy. The 15 sources for this analysis were selected from 11 peer-reviewed educational technology journals. All sources included an electronic medium. The analysis only included sources with the words self-regulation as part of the title. The studies were conducted from 2005 to 2014. To figure as part of this analysis, the journal sources had to include research participants. This means that meta-analyses and book reviews were excluded. The number of participants in the 15 studies ranged from 24 to 825. All of the studies reviewed used a quantitative approach to data collection. Studies were conducted in various countries, including the United States, Taiwan, Greece, Finland, South Korea, and China. 14 of the studies used undergraduate or graduate student participants, but one of the studies used grade 4 students. From the analysis of the 15 studies, 5 themes emerged related to self-regulation in information and communication technology supported learning. These were self-regulated learning and success in online learning, the need for instruction in self-regulated learning skills, students' misjudgment of their self-regulated learning ability, self-regulated learning and learning persistence and engagement, self-regulated learning and variance in ability of distance learners. One of the themes that emerged was how self-regulated learning ability is essential for success in online learning. Self-regulated learning ability is a predictor of learning achievement in online learning. Successes in online learning correlate positively with students' ability to self-regulate and direct their own learning efforts. Higher achieving students in online learning outperform lower achieving students in self-regulated learning skills. When students increase their self-regulated learning skills and strategies, the result is increased learning in online learning. When students receive self-regulated learning intervention, they showed greater regularity in submitting assignments and class attendance in online learning. Similarly, incorporating self-regulatory strategies into online learning increases and improves students' motivation beliefs. Niemi, Nevgi, and Virtanen found that students enrolled in online courses had fixed study habits and often did not have any reason or means to change them. They found in online learning, students were given too little guidance for developing self-regulated learning strategies that were too demanding for them to acquire on their own. Technological tools can help support students and enhance learning, including self-regulated learning, especially in the early stages of higher education. Interactive web-based tutoring tools, computer-based learning, and video environments can be beneficial to students and effectively increase students' self-regulation. They are especially useful for students who lack stable, self-regulated learning strategies or for students in the early stages of university studies. Students who lack self-regulated learning skills often do not engage in learning, involve themselves in health-seeking behavior, and do not attempt to acquire learning strategies. Self-regulatory strategies implemented within online learning can improve learners' engagement and motivation, including expectancy for success and self-regulation. When self-regulated learning strategies are implemented within an online course, students perceive the outcome of their learning to be their responsibility. When performing new tasks in online learning, students sometimes only have a vague sense of the effectiveness of their learning approach. They can be unaware of the time they spend on learning or how to organize and control their learning processes. Similarly, Lower performing students frequently overrate and misjudge their self-regulated learning skills in online learning. Lower performing students overestimate their self-regulated learning abilities in the areas of task strategies and time management. Students with higher levels of self-regulation are better able to manage academic tasks and stay committed to learning when faced with obstacles or challenges in information and communication technology supported learning. Self-regulation positively correlates with behavioral, emotional, and cognitive engagement of students. Learners with high self-regulated learning ability demonstrate increased levels of concentration and experience learning persistence through learning flow and challenging learning situations in online learning. Students who demonstrate high levels of self-regulation have higher levels of engagement and interact more in online learning. Students who have self-regulating behaviors, such as intrinsic goal orientations, tend to persist with learning in challenging tasks presented by online learning. Students in online learning have varying levels of self-regulated learning skills. Self-regulated learning ability is affected by age range and level of education. One component of self-regulated learning, study management, is significantly affected in online learning by education level, highest level of graduation, and age range. Young students with little experience in higher education or online learning often have underdeveloped strategies towards learning. Online learners with previous experience have higher self-regulated learning abilities than new online learners directly from high school, especially in the areas of planning, regulating, and evaluation. Students who use the internet or have online course experience are more likely to have high self-regulated learning skills. A study by Chang revealed gender differences in self-regulated learning ability for online learners. Female learners demonstrated lower abilities of control and evaluation and controlling content and resources in online learning. This analysis presented evidence to support the argument that self-regulation is a predictor for student success in information and communication technology supported learning. 5 studies highlighted the benefits of instructional design in online learning to help students develop self-regulated learning skills. Implementation of self-regulated learning within online learning increases students' self-regulation skills and their expectancy for learning. Educators should ensure that students entering online learning are equipped with self-regulated learning skills, and course designers should implement strategies for students to develop those skills. Niemi et al. Found that students receive little instruction in developing self-regulated learning skills in online learning. 2 of the studies, Niemi et al. And Zhao et al., found that it was very difficult for students to develop self-regulated learning abilities without instruction and support. Given the lack of self-regulated learning skills of students, it is important that instruction takes into consideration the development of strategies towards self-regulation. Instruction with the goal of self-regulation is necessary for students because of the autonomy demanded in online learning. Students in online learning may have varying levels of self-regulated learning skills. Self-regulated learning ability is affected by age, experience, and level of education. Chang also suggested that there may be gender differences in self-regulated learning abilities. Some students in online learning have a limited understanding of their own learning strategies and lack self-regulated learning skills. Some online students are often unaware of how much time they spend on studying and learning. When self-regulatory strategies are used to enhance online learning, students gain perception over their learning strategies. The findings of the 15 studies suggest that self-regulation in information and communication technology supported learning is an essential skill for student success. However, students entering online learning in higher education may have vastly different levels of self-regulatory ability and lack the guidance and means to improve their learning strategies. For learners with low self-regulatory skills, The increased autonomy demanded by online learning to effectively engage in learning tasks presents difficulties. Students may need guidance for developing their own self-regulative strategies that are too demanding to acquire on their own. Fostering self-regulation is a fundamental element for ensuring student success in information and communication technology supported learning. From the 15 studies, 2 implications emerged in relation to self-regulation in information and communication technology supported learning. One implication for educators and course designers was the need for students to access, develop, and improve their self-regulated learning skills in online learning. Many students entering online learning in higher education have underdeveloped learning strategies and a dependence on others to facilitate their own learning. Course designers should also develop courses to take into account cognitive processes and give students more guidance in order to enhance students' self-regulated learning skills. There are some notable limitations regarding the analysis of the 15 studies. In this analysis, 14 of the 15 studies use graduate or undergraduate students. Including more studies with a range of participants may have resulted in the identification of different themes. In many of the studies, the findings relied primarily on students' self-reported data. All of the studies relied on quantitative methods. Future analyses, such as this one, may consider including studies that use other sources of data or qualitative methods to gain a better understanding of self-regulation in online learning. None of the studies lasted longer than 1 semester. Lalento et al. Noted that a longitudinal study is needed to investigate the carryover of self-regulated learning skills from one course to another. Chang identified that females had lower self-regulated learning abilities than males. These results may only be culturally relevant and not universally applicable to all learners.